Welcome back to Heart to Heart with Tony Isa. Thank you so much for joining us again. Today I happen to have a friend of mine joining us today, as well as a great professional. His name is Jonathan Cress. Jonathan, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you being here. Let's get straight to it. Who is Jonathan Cress?
Well, I graduated from Fremont in 1998. Then I went to college at Tri-State or Trine University, played basketball there. From there, I went to law school and then moved back home because I enjoyed Steuben County so much.
There you go. I like the way that sounds. Just want to plant your roots around here. What made you decide to practice law?
Well, I guess the decision really wasn't mine when it came down to it. It was about my sophomore year at Tri-State, and my father and my wife came to me and said, "Hey, you're applying to law school." I said, "Sounds good," and so the rest is history.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And if you know his wife, she's a sweet lady, but yeah, she's definitely in charge. Who is your go-to people in your business?
Sure. I have some great staff right now, but probably my two go-to people are my paralegal, Alicia. She has been with us for about 8 years. She's completely amazing, great with clients. I mean, she covers all of the things I need done there, and clients seem to just love her. My other go-to person is my wife. She's my office manager. She's our collection manager. She basically takes care of the firm side, so I can practice law. So it's nice.
She's the business end of it, and you're the technical and the face of the franchise, if you will.
That probably is a good description.
There you go. Something that I'm curious about is what areas of expertise in the legal world do you get?
Sure. So, my practice is somewhat of a general practice. So I practice in the areas of family law, criminal law, we have estate law, we have real estate law, and business law. And then those are broken down to specific types of cases.
All right. I know that the Isa family is in the process of having you help us put together a will. Why is that important? And what, like estate planning, can you go into those different documents and why everybody, in my opinion, or do you agree that everybody should have those pieces in place?
Absolutely. So estate planning is kind of a general term for many documents. Usually they include a will, a living will, a healthcare directive, and a power of attorney. And most people, I think, delay getting their estate planning done because they think that you must have to accumulate a lot of wealth before maybe it would be worth it. But ultimately, when you have children, I think it's important in that will to nominate individuals if something happens to you that they're taken care of, both from a personal standpoint and any money through life insurance policies or anything left over. And so I think that's where a lot of people kind of wait, where estate planning can benefit people right from the beginning of their relationships and having children. With regards to kind of the pieces, the wills itself is important because if you don't have a will, Indiana has a will for you, and you may not like what it says. So if you really want your property to go where you want it to go, then it's important to put it in writing and to have a will done. Now, also, it's sometimes important to make sure that the right people get the assets, such as maybe you don't want your 18-year-old to inherit a lot of money. So there's ways to get around that so that you might be able to give it to them at a later date, maybe put them through college, making them a little bit more mature when they receive that. With a healthcare directive, it's something that if you're unable to make that decision for you, you're nominating someone to make those decisions for you. Usually it's a spouse or a relative or even an adult child. And then the other ones are living wills, which probably to me is probably the most important. That's a document that if a physician certifies in writing that you have an incurable disease, illness, or injury, and life-prolonging devices such as feeding tube, ventilators will only serve to prolong your life. Do you wish to have that? Do you really want to go through that? That's a real hard decision for most family members to make. And it's much better if it's the person that's going through it is simply making that decision.
Right.
Then you feel like a loved one, such as a spouse or a child.
It's a hard decision to be forced into having to make. So if you're prepared with that understanding of it, you clearly understand that that's, this is the decision we're going to go with, and it's already been pre-identified. So it's really not a decision you have to make when you're under that gun. And I will tell you personally, we started asking questions about who we would want our kids to go with, and that's just not an easy thing. I mean, that becomes very real. I mean, when you start asking those questions, and you hope it never happens, but not having a plan is seriously about as foolish as it gets, because then, what happens to your children? And that's very dramatic when you think about it.
It is, and the biggest part with that is I think that most families have good intentions, but if a parent doesn't designate that, an individual doesn't designate those things, you can have clashes with two sides of families. And that's not good for the children. It's just not good for anyone when a simple designation in a document would clear that up.
Fantastic. Yeah. No, thank you very much for enlightening us on that. So I always ask this question. I'm going to ask you this question. Give me something about you. Tell us all something about you that most people would not know.
All right. So I like to think I'm an open book most of the time, but something that maybe most people don't know is I bartended to get myself through law school, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the interacting with individuals, and in my profession, there's days go by that are very stressful, and I sometimes look back and say, I might want to transition back to that
right.
job. So
and you hear everybody's problems and get paid for it, sometimes even in a more relaxing setting.
I guess I never really thought about it. I do get paid to hear people's problems, and then if they're tipping me, I'm getting paid to hear people's problems.
Yeah.
So,
so what are your hobbies?
So I guess the major hobby that I would think that I have is basketball. Like I said, I played at Tri-State, so I always had a passion for that. Right now I'm assistant coaching for the Fremont High School girls team. They just won a sectional, so that was really exciting because my daughter plays on the team. So being able to be a part of that, but also having a job and other things going on. And then I do play in a men's league in the morning once a week with people from my church, which I really enjoy as well.
Well, I can tell you this, there is one more hobby he's not telling you about, and that is every year he donates a portion to the fantasy football league that I happen to be a part of. And, funny as it is, we're fighting for last place this year, both of us. So,
but I think you did clarify that's more of a charitable donation than basically.
Oh, okay. So you're giving yourself an out. I love that. Fantastic. Well, I guess I didn't hear how many kids in your family. How many? Tell us about your wife.
Absolutely. So I married my high school sweetheart.
That is very unique in this day and age.
It is. We just celebrated our 20th year anniversary, so that was quite an event. I have a 19-year-old daughter, 18-year-old daughter, and then a 15-year-old son. So Macy is right now attending Butler University, and then I have a sophomore, which is Madeline, and then my son's an 8th grader at Fremont. So we've pretty much been consumed for the last 20 plus years with kids and our careers. Sure. And
it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. I always say it's a good problem to have sometimes because it takes work, but the payoff
very
is
rewarding.
There.
Absolutely. Well, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you joining us today. I know you got a busy schedule, and I look forward to just our relationship. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me again.
All right, take care. Well, we're done. Another episode in the books. Please look down on the bottom there and like it and share it with other people so that we can continue this process. Thank you very much. Have a great day. My name is Tony Isa. I'm with Remax Results here in Angola, Indiana. I just want to say thank you all for watching these videos. These were videos that I was compelled to do just because I know that there's a lot of times there are questions that people have, low-hanging fruit, if you will, that can be answered for people to help them understand what's going on. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Also, if there's anybody you'd like to see being videoed and have questions asked for them, please, again, reach out to me. My contact information is at the end of the video, and I'd be happy to do so. I appreciate your patience. I've been growing in this video process. Thank you. Again, any questions? Have a great day.